Hi, welcome to another episode of News Direct, the podcast, which we're sharing real life stories of local people, their experience of growing up in North Lincolnshire or being in a business or working in North Lincolnshire now. So I'm joined today by somebody who I've known, I think, for, well, I think 30 years, maybe 30 years. I've been aware of him. He was always in the cool gang at college. So I remember he used to wander around. He was like being with somebody I'd watch there from the cafe, and I'd just walk him in, and he'd glide in, and he had all these people on. It's Roj Rahman. So really grateful for you to join us on this. So what I'm trying to do with this, and you'll know this because you've worked with people in that community sector, and you work a lot now volunteering at a football club. So we're trying to get inspirational stories. And you're a local kid. Tell us about where you grew up and what school you went to.
First of all, thank you, Rob, for the invite, mate. It's always a pleasure to see you, my friend.
You too, mate.
Humble beginnings. Started at 81 Burke Street, just off Frodingham Road.
Yeah.
There was a shop around the corner called Laura's. I think Laura's is still there.
Yeah.
Went to St George's Play School, I think, which was a nursery there. And from there went to Crosby Infants.
Yeah.
And then to Crosby Juniors. From there went to High Ridge. High Ridge was in two parts at the time.
Yeah.
High Ridge Bottom School, as we called it. In those days, it wasn't year 7. It was years 1, 2, and then we went to the top school, which is where now St Lawrence is, which was a top school. And then you year 3, 4, and 5, your 3rd, 4th, and 5th year.
Of course.
So started from the town centre area. And I'm still connected, although I've moved.
Yeah.
A lot of my
well, not far away, are you? Still not far away. You're still around in and around the town. So what was it like being a young person growing up? What did you think that you wanted to do? What was your ambition? How did your education help you with that?
Obviously, it was a tough upbringing, being a son of an economic migrant.
Yeah.
Growing up in the 70s wasn't very easy.
No.
Obviously, Dad came in the early 60s. Mum and I came to join him in 1974.
Yeah.
So growing up culturally, my parents probably weren't aware of things like Christmas and going to, school when you had a parents' evening or sports day. So a lot of time people would think, has he not got any parents?
Yeah.
And I remember especially at Christmas coming up, a Christmas story where a kid was asking, what did you get for Christmas? And obviously, I'd got nothing for Christmas because we didn't celebrate Christmas at the time, or we weren't aware of Christmas.
Yeah.
So I couldn't understand why Father Christmas would never visit me, because my friends would say, oh, this is what we got for Christmas. And I think, so one day I was reading Topsy and Tim's Christmas Party, and I said to my sister Carla, I know what it is. It's because we've got a gas fire. They can't get down the chimney. So I remember it was an old Cannon gas fire with 3 bars. You turned it round once and the middle bar would come on. You turn it again and the 2 outer bars would come on. And the 3rd time the 3 bars would come on. So I said, what we'll do on Christmas Eve, we got all the cookie out and the milk out, and we'd left the stockings at the end of the bed. So I sneaked back down, and I'd realised that had once closed up on the elbow for the gas.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't realise you had to close it off. So what I did, I came down and I pulled the gas fire off. Crash, bang, wallops, gas leaking down. Dad comes running downstairs thinking we're getting burgled, and he sees me. And he says, What are you doing, son? And obviously I turn around and says, Father Christmas, Dad. Father Christmas. Bloody Father Christmas. I teach you Father Christmas is a clip around the ears. Like that way. He gets to the elbow on this elbow thinking, stops the gas and Dad, Father Christmas, I want Father Christmas to come. Obviously years later, you realise it was a myth, but I couldn't understand why Father Christmas didn't come round. But so those were challenging and difficult times. But I was very lucky because I was from a young age, I was able to make friends. Racism was a bit of a tough thing growing up in school, where I remember your teacher asking you what's your name, and obviously my name's Mohammed Roj Rahman. So Roj comes from my middle name, but everybody in my house was called Mohammed. So Mohammed Oli Rahman, Mohammed Mortuza. So I went to school, and I remember teacher saying, what's your name, lad? My name's Mohammed, sir. No, lad, you're Abdul. Abdul 1, there's only 3, 4 of us. Abdul 1, Abdul 2, Abdul 3, and Abdul 4. So they were challenging times. But I think with me, I never took any of those to heart. I grew from those things. I always found a way of growing from there. Growing up, it wasn't easy because my mum would go to jumble sale.
Yeah.
Well, jumble sales, for those who don't know, were like tabletop sales.
Yeah, yeah.
And they should pick up
they were a big thing, weren't they?
Pick up old plimsolls and old trousers, and sometimes the trousers would come above my ankles, and kids would laugh at you, and the plimsolls had got holes in them.
Yeah.
So when I started the secondary school, I remember saying, "Please, Dad, don't get me second-hand blazer. Get me some new clothes."
Yeah.
But I was feeling bad at the same time because obviously working class background, everything was tough for everybody.
Yeah,
it wasn't just
of course
me.
it was. It was how it was.
So bless him. So he'd got me a new uniform, and I remember my grey V-neck jumper and I think it was green and yellow tie and a white shirt, new shoes. 3 days in, somebody offered to have me a fight at school. For a guy who's never had a fight in my life,
no,
and even at home we never swore, there was non-violence.
Yeah,
we want you a fight. Obviously, I didn't know what a fight was. I must have turned around and said, "Yeah, all right, then we'll have a fight." So it was behind Tiffany's, which then became Scene 3 or Scene 4, and then it became Henry Africa's. Yeah, that was right next to. So those who don't know where Harry's Bottom School is, it's where I think it's at Lidl is now.
Yeah, with the Lidl on the corner. Yeah.
So I remember they came out, and next thing I know, fist, cuff. And the lads from the top school must have heard about it, and they came down. And all I heard, obviously, at that time was, "Kill the packy, kill the nigger." My nose still got hump on it, put me on the floor, and they beat the crap out of me, So I woke up, got up off the floor finally, all blood, and I wasn't bothered about anything.
Not that jacket.
But I was worried about the blazer and the coat, because my mum and dad had worked hard to provide me. I didn't want to go home because I felt I let them down. But as an 11-year-old, obviously I walked home, and when your parents see in the condition that you was all battered and bruised and blooded, they took me to the hospital, where they cleaned me up and sent me home. And all I kept saying, "I'm really sorry about the blazer." And to this day, it still bothered me because, I just felt I let them down, even though it was
out of your control. Yeah.
Yeah, finished college, school. Was reasonably bright. But I think my parents went away at the wrong time. They went back to Bangladesh to see, I think my grandparents weren't well. And it was a time where we was doing, I think it was CSEs and O-levels.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, I had the house to myself. People thought, great, we'll have house parties. So suddenly, from being quite a quiet kid.
So that was them that went away that was the problem, not you.
Well, no, so suddenly from being the quiet kid, everybody wanted to come round.
Well, they would.
Roger's house is empty, let's have a house party. And on the basis of that, I didn't turn up for some of my exams.
Oh.
I loved woodwork.
Yeah.
And I loved what they call CDT, craft design technology.
Yeah.
And I think that was the only one that I did reasonably well.
Yeah.
I went to John Leggett College. They said, you're going to have to do a course called CPVE.
Yeah, yeah.
Course for pre-vocational education. Yeah. Basically, it's for dunces. Yeah, people had failed their exams. It was a new pilot course.
Yeah.
I thought, gosh, I'm not going to tell my dad. So I said, "Dad, it's a pilot course, and they want me to be on it because I'm really, really good." He bless him, he believed me. And I went to John Leggett College, and I was a bit of a boy. I'd like to put on, activities and do's, and I did a week's work experience at Record Village.
Oh.
And Record Village was the place to be at the time.
Was it? So what was it, on Cole Street?
No, it was before that. It was on the High Street.
Oh, it was.
McDonald's opened.
It was, yeah.
And it was next door to before Body Shop opened up. Everybody used to go to Record Village.
They did, yeah. The yellow sign.
Yellow sign with a black where it said Record Village.
Yeah.
I know all my friends still laugh about it. They'll just say, "Oh, tell me your story about Record Village." I think that was a place which shaped and moulded me.
And did you buy your first single from there?
I did.
And what was it?
5-star. What was it called? It was. No, it wasn't. It was like a Virgin, a Madonna.
Okay.
Because you could buy a 7-inch and a 12-inch, and then you buy the album.
And do you know what mine was? I'm going to say, I bought it from the High Street up there. Mine was Eddie Grant.
Oh!
I'm going to rock down to Electric Avenue.
Electric Avenue. Brilliant. So very good. So I started on there. Very first day, they asked me she asked me to make her a cup of tea. And I'd never used an electric kettle before. Mum had always done it with those old kettles that whistle.
Oh, yeah, we had it, on the stove.
On the stove.
We did, yeah.
So I made this cup of tea, and I must not put enough water in it. And she drunk it, and she went, "What's this?" "It's water." I went, "Oh, really sorry. Go make me another one, and make sure you fill the kettle this time." That was my first day, but by the end of the week, she says, "Can you come in on the Saturday?" And I went, "It's only work experience." "Can you come in on the Saturday?" I went, "Yeah, I can do."
Yeah.
Did the Saturday. On the way home, she gives me a tenner. I says, what's this? She
That's
says,
when we got a tenner, didn't we?
she says,
Yeah.
it's a part-time job on a Saturday if you wanted it. So for the very first minute where she said, is it pea water?
Yeah.
By then, I must have done something right in her
Yeah.
eyes, and I loved working there.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was at college, and I failed miserably. Didn't pass anything.
Yeah.
But because it was a pilot, it was a pilot project that got the Evening Telegraph in for those who had passed
Yeah.
to take a photograph in the hall.
And did you photobomb?
You'll steal the story then. So I was thinking, damn it, what am I going to tell my dad? So as they was taking a picture, they went like, I picked up a blank piece of A4. And I'm going to have to show you this, Rob. So I get right at the end of the picture, the most prominent place, and I stand there to take a picture. I get home about a week later, and Dad says, I'm so proud of you, son, so proud of my son. And he gets an article, half a page in the Evening Telegraph, said, certified success. Certified success. He still got it on the photo album. God bless his soul, Dad. I know you're watching. And he was showing it. Look at my son got on the Evening Telegraph. Scunthorpe Evening Telegraph.
Yeah.
Failed. That's why I thought I've got to do something. So I went to North Lincolnshire College.
Yeah.
That's the year you
Yes,
came in.
Yeah, same year.
When
Yeah.
you was doing, I think it was business studies.
Yeah, I did business. I was with Kit Sargent.
That's right.
Yeah.
And obviously, I did electronics, and I don't know why I even did that. It just sounded good. And I just thought, and I was blessed. I met a mature student by the name of Paul Tomasi, and he took me under his wings, and he had a few businesses, and he says, son, you've got to work hard. There's something about you. You can't just be a bit of a boy.
Yeah. Come
to my home at the end of tonight, and we'll do the coursework. And I found a desire and a thirst suddenly to learn.
Yeah.
So obviously the first year, second year at college, we started up the Students' Association with Carol Reynolds.
Bless
and I had to get up on the stage, vote for me to be it was like deputy head boy, vice chairman of the Student Association, which we got, and we shaped and moulded that. Roy Snelling was the principal at the time. And I remember him asking, hey, Rog, what do you think? What do you think we should do before you leave? And I said, every time I go to the different annexes, we had one at Cole Street, which did hairdressing. We went to South Park. We had the motor vehicles. Yeah. And I said, what we need to do, Mr. Snelling, is bring all of that on site. And then years later, I went to university, thanks to Mr. Snelling, who said, son, get yourself to university. And I said, sir, we don't go to university. We're working class people. My dad's never been. My granddad's never been. My brother's never been. And he said, you can do this. So in November, you're supposed to do clearing. Yeah. And I didn't, but he wrote me a personal reference. Yeah. And I applied to Sheffield and Nottingham, and I got in at Sheffield City Polytechnic. Right. Where I went there and eventually did a degree in engineering, a master's degree in manufacturing systems engineering. I had the opportunity to do a PhD for Rolls-Royce and Oracle to do some simulation work. And I came home and I just thought, hey, Dad's still working away, looking at the steelworks and also looking after some of his properties. And I thought, he needs to retire. Yeah. I need to come back home and do the right thing and look after my parents and give him a bit of the freedom to go and travel. So came back, I didn't do the PhD, came back, worked at the steelworks for a little while. I wanted to do that right at the beginning. I wanted to go to college. I wanted to follow my dad, and for whatever reason, 2 or 3 times I tried to get into the YTS, the Youth Training Scheme. And for whatever reason, it wasn't. So I always believe now, destiny's written for you. Yeah. Destiny's true. If something's meant for you, it'll happen. And if something that's not meant for you, it'll pass you by. It won't happen as much as you want it. So
that's interesting, because a family's clearly a big part of you and that loyalty to your family. Do you think it held you back, or was that, as you say, back to that destiny point, or was it just you had that staple in your life so you could do good things?
I think so, and I think my role model was my father.
Yeah.
A man who taught me the values of respect, honesty, decency, community. And he'd always say, you've been blessed with 2 eyes. With one eye, always see the goodness of others. With the other eye, always look at your own weaknesses and deficiencies. Never take criticism as a nuisance, always take it as an opportunity to learn. Yeah. And one day I went to Bangladesh with him at the age of 14, 15, and he stood at the end of the village where we lived, and there was a lot of rice fields, and he looked and he stood there and he says, you know what, son? All of that belongs to me. I thought, that's not in my dad's nature to speak like that. And he went quiet for about 10 seconds. And he says, you know what? My father stood here and he said the same thing. All of this belonged to me. And his grandfather said the same, son. The world and everything that we see, the time, the health and the wealth, is not yours. No. You're only gifted that for a short time. All of this is a deception. Yeah. So when you stand with pride and you say, my time, my health, my wealth, my power, my position. Just take a few minutes to relax.
Yeah.
Many before you have said the same. Where have they gone? You're only blessed to be in this world for a very short time.
Yeah.
And it's what you do and the footprint and the legacy that you leave behind to share and to care. Because you're only here for a short time.
Yeah.
So give me an example, Rob. He says, think of life as a train journey, son. So you come from, as believers, you come from the world of the soul into the womb of your mother. So from the womb of your mother, you come to the womb of this earth. And from the womb of this earth, you'll go into the womb of the grave. And as a believer, ultimately, if you're a good person, you'll go to a good place. And if you're not so good, you may get punished before you go to a good place.
Yeah.
So I was young and I didn't understand. He said, let me give you an example. It's a train journey. He says, you're going from London to Edinburgh and it stops at Doncaster. And you're at the waiting room. And you know your train's going to come in the next 15 minutes. But you get that busy in that waiting room that you start decorating it and you start buying furniture, putting telly. People will come and say, Rog, are you a foolish man? The train's coming in 10 minutes. Why are you absorbing yourself so much in decorating this waiting room?
Yeah.
Your train's coming. He said, son, death will approach you soon. So in this world, it's like a waiting room. Don't absorb yourself in so much that you become so busy that you forget that one day you're going to leave.
Yeah.
So always try and do good to help others. Because in your absence, if somebody turns around and says, you know that, Rob Waltham, good human being.
Yeah.
It's not about Rob Waltham, the leader of the council, Roj Rahman, owner of Mort.
Yeah.
All of that will go to somebody else.
Yeah, of course it will.
But in your absence, if you can leave something behind where others can benefit, you walk into a room and you make somebody happy. Even if you can't make them happy, but at least you don't make them sad and upset.
Yeah.
Those are the values I grew up with, you see.
No, well, and I think I always say if you've got good values, you'll make good decisions because, you know, you can spend a lot of time thinking, am I making the right decision? But your values will live with you forever. So if you do, you know, whether it's around faith or the way that you respect other people or the way that you approach life and the way that you work with other people, and, you know, they're all good values. And if those values there, you'll always make the best of the decisions that you can. But all of that's leads you to a bit of, there's a lot of philosophy. I mean, you're an intelligent man. You can always have a good, honest debate with you about it. Do you reflect much on philosophy and the way that the world is?
I think so. And I've learnt with age sometimes about expectations and disappointment. Yeah. You think, where does disappointment come in? And I realised disappointment comes in from expectation. So you have certain expectations of your brothers, your siblings. You have certain expectations of your mother and your father and your kids. And sometimes if they don't achieve or reach those expectations, and sometimes it's not because they don't want to, it's because their abilities and their understanding is very different to ours.
Yeah.
We suddenly feel disappointed. We think, oh.
Yeah.
So I've realised that I don't have any expectations of anybody anymore.
No.
And I'm in such a better place. When I give love to somebody, I think love shouldn't be a transactional thing that, Rob, I love you. But in return, I'm thinking, if I'm good to Rob, he's the leader of the council, he might be able to do me a favour. It shouldn't be about that.
No, of course
love
not.
shouldn't be, because love should be unconditional.
Yeah.
Without expectations.
Yeah.
And that way, as human beings, we will never, ever be disappointed. And from disappointment, then the anger and the aggression. People say, oh, you're always smiling. Have you not when you get stressed? And I said, I do. But I realise at the end of the day, a lot of that comes from expectations of others.
Yeah.
So I don't have any expectations of anybody. I will do whatever I can to the very best of my ability with an open heart. Because I believe God created this heart for love.
Yeah.
And the more you fill it with love, the more the world will be a better place.
Yeah.
When you fill this heart with anger and aggression, that's where the mental health issues come in and the anger comes in and the disappointment comes in. This heart has been created, and when we do a love heart, what does it mean?
Yeah.
It's the heart connected to love. My car, where I put the fuel in, if I decide to put water in there or oil in there, it's not going to function correctly.
No.
This heart has been created for love.
Yeah.
And the more you fill it with love, the world around you will be a better place. The people around, because you'll see things differently. There will be no anger. So whenever I get a bit of anger, I'm a human being, or sometimes a bit of jealousy, whatever, I immediately make sure that I take it out and I say, no, Roj Rahman, this heart is for love.
Yeah.
Love everybody. I go to work and I give everybody a hug. You know what I mean? Every single day, because I think, and I hope God keeps me that way, and I feel good all the time.
Yeah.
You know, that's I am quite philosophical with those sort of things. And my father will say, your tongue is the nearest to your heart. Your tongue is the nearest to your ears. So whenever you speak good or you say something good, it's not actually for Rob Waltham.
No.
You're saying it to yourself.
Yeah.
Love somebody, care for somebody, don't get angry. If you're a genuine well-wisher, be a well-wisher.
Yeah.
As soon as somebody has a fault, you don't have to report it to the world. go to Rob's ear and quietly say, Rob,
Yeah.
maybe don't do it like that.
Yeah.
And I've seen it with the football club. So many people say they're the well-wishers, but they're so quick to put things on social media. If you're a genuine well-wisher, come and pick the phone up and say, guys, maybe you can do this better. Guys, can we come and help you in this? You know. So that the football club has been a great eye-opener.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was going to go to that next because clearly, you know, it's not that long ago that the club. I mean, you've always been a supporter, so you know, it's been, you know, I think the way that you approach your values and then the way that you approach this town as your home is wholesome. It's very pure in the thought. You put stuff into it. You're not because you expect to get something out of it, but because you like to add value. So a couple of years ago now, there was this sort of, you could see there was things going on at the club that were challenging. Even then, the pure Roj Rahman said, how can I help? Whether it was that sign that went up, I can remember the scoreboard, you were part of it. Even though the club was in a difficult time, you were still trying to find ways, not to fix, but to add value, to try and give something back, as people have heard you describe now. So then that started you on a journey then as to, you know, Michelle had started a discussion, we were in a discussion everywhere else, but trying to play it down because there were a lot of people, you could describe them all as bad actors, but they were just managing agendas, and people, and that's the nature of business, people manage their own agenda. What was that like for you, and how did you really then start to make that leap into becoming more involved in the club?
Yeah, like you said, I think I went to my first game in 1979 with my school teacher, and sometimes I wish I could find him, Mr. Brown, Terry Brown.
Terry Brown, he might be out there, you never know.
If he's out there, Terry Brown, Mr. Brown, you know, thank you so much. And I remember going, that was an evening game under the floodlights. And it was great, and couldn't afford to go in after that.
That would be at the old showground,
so I realised that the Fox Street and the gates would open about 20 minutes towards the end of the game. So after that, I'd always hover about because I couldn't afford to go in.
No.
As soon as I opened the gates, I was always trying to sneak in.
Yeah.
Eventually, the steward thought, this lad's trying every time. So they'd playfully chase me and let me go in and I'd watch. So yeah, I've been, and then more recently, probably 25 years, I should run a youth project called the Medani Youth Organisation. And again, I think just touching about that, people say, what was your greatest achievement? And I think youth group, because my GP who looks after my health is a product of my youth project.
Oh, really?
Taft's Pharmacy, the pharmacist.
Of course, I met him.
Is a product of my youth project. My solicitor is a product of that youth project. Right. I've got two lads who are diplomats with passports, I say diplomatic passport, from my youth project. So when I came from university, these guys were just on the streets, and we took them away and tried to raise their levels of aspiration and educational appointment, and say to them that you need to contribute to the peace and the prosperity and the progress of your community. Like you said, we're Scunthonians, we love our town. We get the hair standing back. We want this town to be the best town in the country, you know. So with the football, and then we did football in the community with Lee Turnbull, who I knew. And over the years, kept in touch with Lee and doing bits and bobs. And when I was able to afford to sponsor games and matches, and I think with the scoreboard at that time, the club was wobbling a little bit, and I thought, what could I do? And I went down to the ground, and I remember the scoreboard not working, and Glyn and Josh Braithwaite, I said, guys, you need to sort this scoreboard out. And then, it's broken, Rog. Why don't you buy us one? You normally would ask, normally ask, how much is it going to cost? Like a fool, I says, all right then, I'll pay you. Thinking it was just going to be the LCD, whatever, 1980 scoreboard repair. No, they wanted an old singing, old dancing scoreboard.
Of course they did,
Next thing, they didn't want it there. They wanted it in that corner, so there was no steel beams and that too. So then we ended up paying for the steel beam. Then we realised there's no electrics to there, so we had to get the electrics. Anyway, long story short,
you were properly sold in.
We ended up paying. But I think again, it was destiny. So because people said, this guy's put a substantial amount of money on this. He must care about this club. So when I think David Hilton came in, I was one of his first directors, because I think, again, Lee pushed that agenda, like you need a board of directors to, and then obviously Michelle was on it and a few other people. And then when David decided to leave, there were certain things that happened where people felt they couldn't be directors, or they felt there was conflict of interest. So a lot of the directors had left by that time. Only myself and Michelle was there. So we're ringing each other, what do we do? So we kept saying to each other, well, we'll wait for another day, because if the club does fall,
Yeah.
at least as directors, there's a bit of continuity at the football club.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I think it was Wednesday, I think, was it the 3rd of October, where Michelle called me in and into Lee's office, and the conversation took place where she says, if we don't do something, the club's going to die. And at that point, she said, obviously, she's spoken to George and Ian, as well as a few others that had come in at that time. And it was a big leap. And then she said, there was still the big gap. She said, there's a bit of conversation going with yourselves and the council. And it was a collective effort, you know what, Rob? We did good for the people of this town.
Yeah.
Because we needed that football club. Because without then the Steelworks was nearly on its knees.
Yeah, it was
the club was on its knees. So, and I feel blessed that I could be part of that journey and be a custodian. That's how I see myself, as a custodian. And one day we will pass that baton on.
Yeah.
But at this moment in time, it is to ensure that we make this club sustainable, that this club is here to fight another day. And the day when it comes that we can pass it on to somebody else, the club is in a better and a stronger position than how we picked it up.
Yeah.
You know, but along the way, there's been a lot of challenges, a lot of difficulties, which we know, and it's been out there. So I don't want to go through it.
No.
And those people who were there in the early days on those journeys all made a valuable contribution to ensuring that we all had a football club.
Yeah.
You know, so
I think for me it was a bit weird. I remember at the time, because there were lots of conversations happening, and although we'd seen each other at lots of things over time, and obviously we knew each other back at that in the old days when I used to see you. He was the cool kid. I was just a cheap seat.
You wasn't.
I know I was, but you know, I sort of knowing of you and I just felt that when it did go full circle and all that, you know, and David gone, and then there was this lapse of a future when things were trying to get out of old ownership and stuff. It felt like sort of the planets aligned a bit. Now I sound like the philosopher. It felt like there were lots of people, and sort of knowing that you were there made it all right, and knowing that Michelle was there, and you know, she's still very much the team. She's like, you know, as you say, it's connecting in to you. I know sometimes people think that Michelle is that front face, but I think she's so good at saying, no, it's all of us. I mean, when we did the podcast, actually, lots of people watched it, and she was very, it's a team. Sometimes we have a debate, sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. You know, you're always getting a hug off Rog at the end.
Yeah.
And I think it just felt like everything aligned. I don't know, I can't evidence any of that, but it just felt like the right people were falling into the right place.
I think so. And fair play to Michelle. At the end of the day, I always say to people, you can buy a vehicle, but if somebody's not going to drive it, you'll be stationed in the same place.
Yeah.
And Michelle's the driver behind all of this.
Yeah.
George, another local guy with his businesses.
Yeah.
Very passionate, you know, and very passionate about the town as well.
Yeah.
Ian, again, grew up with very little. When you hear his story,
he's coming on. I haven't confirmed him yet. He's coming on.
All right. And I'm sure. And then when you hear his story and his upbringing, and always he said he wanted to do something for the football club. And I think finally, the four of us, how we've got together, there are differences.
Yeah, of course.
But it's beautiful when we leave that room.
Yeah.
Because we know the greater good is the football club.
Yeah.
It's not about our egos. It's not about our finances. It's not about our position. It's about Scunthorpe United Football Club. And we always find a common ground when we leave that room where it's right, it's a hug and that. See you later, guys. See you next week or whatever.
Yeah.
And it feels good. And I say to people say, how do you manage? You've got your morts that you're busy with, and you've got investments and bits and bobs in other countries. I said, when I go there, even in the midst of threat, I think I'm amongst people who are my family, my brother, my sister. And we know that we're rowing in the right direction for the sustainability and the survival of our football club.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it works very, very well, you know, so.
Yeah, it's good. So, you know, there was that little boy once who went to Crosby Infants and Juniors, and you had the challenges of going to school and all that sort of stuff. But knowing where you are at our age, what advice would you give that little boy at that time who managed to get off to school? Well, even if we said that day you went to that school with your new blazer, what advice would you give that lad?
I'd say to that lad, there's an old Chinese proverb, stand like the tree.
Yeah.
So the tree will stand, and it'll stand tall, and it'll stand firm. And one day it has all its fruits, all its riches, its apples and its plums and its oranges and all its leaves. And one day what happens, the season finishes, and the tree, what happened, the fruits fall and the leaves fall, and the tree becomes barren and naked. but the tree doesn't fall. It stands tall and it stands firm for another day to come. And that's what I believe I did in my life. I never felt sorry for myself. I just waited for another day. Work hard, work honest. And the elements around us in this world teaches us something. Again, the tree is so good what it teaches us, that the tree teaches us that we need time and patience to grow. So when we look at the cloud teaches that sometimes things will get heavy and we're allowed to release. The clouds get heavy and the rains come down. And we see the winds teach us that it goes in a certain direction and suddenly it'll go in another direction. Sometimes if things in life aren't working, we're allowed to change direction. And we go to the seas and the oceans and we see sometimes the seas are chaotic and other time it's calm. What that teaches, life sometimes will be chaotic and other times will be calm. And at night time when we look up into the sky and we'll see the moon and we see the stars, what that teaches is that we need darkness to see the light. So certain periods of our life when we see darkness, it's not a bad thing. No. We need to go through those darknesses to see the light. And in many times in my life, I've been through that and I realize at times of difficulties and at times of adversities, true friends are revealed and the masks of others are unveiled. Sometimes when you go through that, then you realize who your friends are. So these are all learning things. And I think what faith does for me as well is take away that thing where you feel that you're alone. So whether I'm in the depths of the deepest ocean or the wilderness of the Sahara Desert or the darkness of the Amazon jungle, because I believe in God, I think that helps me because I don't feel alone. No. And because I believe in destiny, I don't have any regrets because I believe it wasn't for me. So sometimes 100% mental health exists. But how I think I would deal with sometimes, I think it wasn't meant for me, Rog. That wasn't meant for you. That was not your destiny. Suddenly it gives me comfort. Although you think, oh gosh, I wish I went down the left. If I'd taken the left here, I might have found a pot of gold. Why did I take a right? So you then have regrets in that. But because I believe in destiny, I think it helped me think, you know what, that wasn't meant for you. But stand tall, stand firm. There's a better day to come for you. Keep smiling. That wasn't meant for you. And I think those are the things that help shape and mold me. And I think at the age of in our mid-50s, I still stand tall and I feel I'm still happy. And I hope I can live with those philosophies till the end of my days.
No, it's good. I think anybody listening to it, I think I agree. It's good to know that there will be good and bad times. And that's just the nature of, and also just valuing people for what they bring.
100%.
Not an agenda or any of that sort of stuff. It is just purely see people for what they are and what they bring to your life and the community that you live in.
And like you said, what we see, because we all see things differently.
Yeah, of course.
We all taste things differently. I'll taste myself, oh, that's beautiful. And you think, oh, gosh, that's...
So I won't touch that.
Yeah, exactly. And we hear things differently. So we've got to understand we're all individuals.
Yeah,
just because I see something like that and somebody doesn't make me right. We just have to find a common ground that, you know, and if we can do that, I think we'd all...
Well, the world would be a hell of a lot easier, that's true. So thinking about the dark times, now I'm going to strand you on a desert island. This desert, you are shipwrecked and you're off now, and there's an island and you've been cast aside, you've been washed up by the sea, but you're going to make some choices before you leave the boat as such. And so what 3 records would you choose to go on a desert island with? And now I know you're an expert on records.
No, and that's I'm going to say, what is it that comes on the radio that immediately puts a smile to my face?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to sound so geeky.
80s. Yeah.
Rick Astley, never going to give you up, never going to let you.
Well,
whenever that comes on, just while I'm in the car, we get.
Well, he had a resurgence.
Yes. He's done Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to make a confession. I've even been looking, and him and Gabrielle are doing a tour, and I'm thinking, do I go there in my mid-50s to go and have a bit of a Rick Astley dance?
Go and have a Rick Astley dance.
What else would I take? I was when I was at university, Mark Morrison, Return of the Mac. I invited him to Student Union.
Did you?
So, and that's another song that whenever it always brings a smile to my face. And maybe something like a Lionel Richie Motown.
Oh, yeah.
Something I'm not sure, maybe Penny Lover or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, these things that I don't know takes me to a safe, happy place.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be something like that.
So no matter what the day is, whatever the climate, you put that track on,
and it just brings a smile to your face. So I mean, if I'm there on my own, it'd be great because the sun's there and I'm with sand, see a bit of music.
Yeah.
Dancing to a bit of Rick Astley.
Tell me, what is your luxury item? What is the thing you think you couldn't live without? We all have a bit of something, don't we?
We do. I like my fleece and my little blanket when I sit on my... But
That's really weird. There's a football club reference there because Michelle was she wanted a dressing gown.
Did she? Oh gosh, I've been away, so I haven't fully listened to that. I've heard, so I'm going to. I'd probably take my prayer mat.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I think I pray 5 times a day.
Yeah.
And I put my head down onto the ground, and I think there's a bit of humility in that because it just reminds you that you might have all of this, but ultimately it's nothing. So I'd probably take that because it's just a bit of meditation, and I'm out there. And again, then I'm not feeling I'm alone. Because my God is there with me, I suppose. So I'd probably take that.
And you're not praying for yourself. You get to pray for the world at large and everybody in it, which is the other thing that is good. It's been a real pleasure. I mean, I'm fond of you. I'm fond of you anyway.
We love each other.
Nice to see you, mate. Look after yourself.
You too, my friend. Thank you for that.
Problem.
You know what? I've thoroughly enjoyed that.
No, it's good. Well, I'm really pleased. I like it because it's a great opportunity to do what I like to do, which is to listen to other people. I like other people. So, and it's nice to have it where you can do it where you get to speak to somebody you know and you like too. So it's good. So this is concluding another session of, I don't usually get a hug. I got a hug, but Roger always gives me a hug. But another session of News Direct, the podcast. There are more. Please, we release one every week. So please like and share. So please, keep viewing and listening to them on Spotify. And until next time, thanks for joining us.